Welcome back, I am Captain Xavier, and by now many of you have probably seen my Magnus pump-action shotgun build, and many people commented that I should make it magazine-fed, even though I explained why I wasn't going to. Part of the reason I wasn't going to was I always intended to build this version, which is going to be made out of the Air Max Air Warriors Busby Boss, which is already magazine-fed. I wanted the Magnus to retain the look of a Spaz 12, which is not magazine-fed, and making it magazine-fed would have detracted from that whole look. This one doesn't look anything like a Spaz 12 anyway, so I don't care that it doesn't. And we're basically going to do the exact same thing. One difference is I have acquired this lovely colored PVC from Home Depot. I got some in black, which I'm replacing the Magnus one with, and I got this stuff in orange because I want the two guns to be more or less reverse colored. So this one will be black with orange barrels, whereas my Magnus is orange with black barrels. So that is going to make it a whole lot easier because I won't have to paint the barrels and I won't have to worry about them scraping off. I just have to worry about how it's all going to get attached. I haven't decided what I'm going to use as a pump for this one. I might use some other Recon pump, though I'd kind of like to use something else just for variety. But here we have most of the parts. I think I'm actually possibly still missing one part, though I may not need it for this build. We will see how this whole section here works. If I'm actually able to simply cut this and insert the barrels into it and screw directly to that, yeah, I'm going to be able to do that probably. That will save me the trouble of having to create my own attachment points using the PVC, which I did on the Magnus. So you will need 1-inch pipe, 3/4 inch pipe, a 1-inch bushing for the end of the barrel, a 1-inch bushing, and a 3/4 inch bushing, which will be cut in half and create the actual slide mounts. And on the Magnus, you needed a few more to do the attachment points, but I don't think I'm going to on this one. I think I'm going to be able to get away with just dremeling it out and sliding the barrel in and then screwing directly to this, which is going to make it so much easier, which is lovely. Then it's just a matter of building the pump and attaching it. So we also have one end cap to go on the end of the lower barrel. Let's go ahead and get into this and see what it's going to take to get the barrels to fit into that. The top one is going to have to be the one to start with, because it has to obviously line up. The lower one doesn't have to line up with anything, but it does have to be properly spaced from the top one so that they slide, which it looks like that's going to be absolutely perfect anyway. So let's Dremel a bit and see what happens. Hopefully I won't ruin it. If I do, well, it's a Busby Boss. I can find another one at Goodwill. Let's do this. Alright, so we've got the barrel routed out so that that'll fit. I just need to figure out exactly how to cut the end of the barrel to get it to go in as far as possible. But that is a simple matter. Now the time-consuming part. So I have to file out the inside of these bushings so that it will slide freely over the pipe. Which, this one, the orange stuff is a little bit thicker, which is good. There, done. Covered in dust. Dust. Alright, so those two, that's pretty much the hardest part. Alright, now, that should allow me... Now, more dremeling. Now I just have to make sure I get them lined up right when I start drilling and putting screws in. Yeah, dust! And I need to figure out how long they need to be, which is going to be determined by the length. The maximum length required to get a prime. Another common question is, what is this bar that I use to create the priming rod? It is, in fact, metal from the plumbing aisle of Home Depot. I believe it's used to create custom brackets, so you could bend it and screw it to whatever you wanted to fit around your pipes. So it's in there, it's super cheap, it works great, it's nice and strong, easy to cut, and conveniently already has all the holes you could possibly want. The maximum slide is about 4 1/4 inches. It's actually a little less than that, so that is what we're going to run with. That's where the back part needs to be. Now we need to figure out what we're going to use as a priming rod, because that is going to determine how long this needs to be, which will determine how long the barrels are, which... yeah. So let's check some scrap bins and find us a good priming handle. Alright, I think we have a winner. I am going to use this section from this exploders thing. A bit of that section right there, probably, well, just past this screw head, because it's got kind of the same little vague look as the rest of the gun, and I think it's going to work great. So let's cut a bit of that off of here and see what it's going to take to attach it. Alright, I have finished the slide. I'm actually really pleased with how it came out. I think it's going to match the blaster perfectly. Now we just need to get the barrel lengths and cut the barrels. This will obviously need painting, as will the end caps. But I have them ready to go. Now the lower one's the easy one because it can only go in a certain depth anyway. The bigger one, however, is going to be a little bit trickier because I want to get it a little bit further in. What I'm really not a fan of is how much distance there is from here to the barrel, and there's really nothing I can do about it. Alright, well, painting has been started on a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to go to bed. It is done! And it is magnificent. It came out absolutely exactly like I was hoping it would. Only, I have one minor cosmetic complaint. The barrel does seem to slope up just a little bit, rather than being perfectly straight. It does not appear to be affecting the fire, and I may be able to tweak that, but I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to have to deal with that minor cosmetic flaw. But other than that, it works great. I was able to double the spring using the spring from the Tyrant that I put K26 in, so it hits like a beast. It's got a mean prime on it. Ended up having to bend the priming bars slightly to get them to fit around the shell, but it works flawlessly. And hits like a tank. I have both a 12-round Tyrant magazine, and I have several 6-round Centurion magazines, and I also think I've got one of the 3-round Busby magazines around here somewhere, but I haven't gone looking for it. I particularly like the look of it with this magazine, but of course you can't go wrong doubling the ammo capacity on it, so that is a lot of fun. I really like how it came together aesthetically. The barrel, as I probably mentioned in the build somewhere, is a colored PVC that can be gotten at Home Depot. Just Google, or just search Home Depot for colored PVC. They have it in multiple sizes. They probably also have the bushings, but I didn't bother to look because those I can get at my local Home Depot. So there you have it. That is the build on this. I am going to go ahead and do the firing and review and all that in a separate video alongside my Magnus, so we can kind of get a feel of how they perform next to each other. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, concerns, comments about this particular build, questions about materials, go ahead and put them in the comments section below. And as always, thank you for watching.